development and learners who are exceptional. We have identified our research participants and have carried out an interview. We are now going to present our findings in this video. Learners who are exceptional describe those with disabilities or disorders. A disability involves a limitation on a person's functioning that restricts the individual's abilities. There are several types of disabilities such as learning disabilities, mental retardation, sensory disorders, and autism spectrum disorder. Our research participants include the father, the daughter who is autistic, and her younger brother who we are going to introduce later on. Well, as per requirement, we carried out an interview which focused on learners who are exceptional. And in this case, the research participant, Encik Muhammad Hafiz, has a daughter with autism. We interviewed him, his daughter Naira, and her younger brother Halif. In the interview, we asked about how the daughter was diagnosed, her education, the challenges that they all faced, her interests, support groups, and suggestion or advice to the public. Sure, we are going to show the video and relate it with relevant theories and give explanation, as well as sharing our opinion on the matter.
My name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Abu Bakar. I'm the father for Nurul Naira Husna binti Muhammad Hafiz.
Nurul Naira Husna binti Muhammad Hafiz. I'm 13 years old.
Where do you go to school?
As MK Section 9.
Halif, my youngest brother. I'm 9 years old. I go to school at Raja Muda.
Was your daughter diagnosed?
She was diagnosed when she was 3 years old. I brought her to hospital due to fever. Suddenly, the doctor told me that there is a symptom of my daughter having autism. So I asked the doctor to check on her. Then the doctor checked and then he confirmed that my daughter has mild autism.
Autism or autism spectrum disorder is a complicated condition that includes problems in social, language, and communication skills. Autism is defined by a certain set of behaviors and is a spectrum condition that affects people differently and to varying degrees. According to Autism Speaks organization, autism's early signs vary widely. Some infants show hints in their first months. In others, behaviors become obvious as late as age 2 or 3. Some of the symptoms include no big smiles, no eye contact, repetitive behavior, and etc. And not all children with autism show all the signs. That's why professional evaluation is crucial. As what Encik Hafiz has shared, the doctor suspected that his daughter had symptoms of autism and he asked the doctor to evaluate her and confirm the diagnosis.
Of education did you choose for her and why?
Normally, for this kind of kid, the doctor suggests that he had independent skills. For instance, he know how to take bath. She know how to tell people when she having fever or something. That sort of thing need to be tackled first.
Mr. Zaks, a rehabilitation counselor, and other experts say adaptive skills or skills of daily living need to be taught explicitly to people on the autism spectrum. Such skills are considered essential to adulthood, so having difficulties with everyday activities could drastically reduce an individual's chances of achieving independence in the adulthood. However, besides independent skills, education is also important for them. In Bronfenbrenner's theory, interaction at home and school are an important mesosystem for a child's development. For a person with disability, education is a vital part of their lives as it enables them to read and write, to speak in English language, to find a job, and involved in making decisions along with their family members. So for Naira, the parents provide and ensure her access to education by sending her to SMK Section 9, where she can get special education under program Pendidikan Khas Integrasi. Within this program, those with special educational needs like Naira can achieve the fullest educational progress and social integration.
Education-wise, I don't think that she can manage to learn like an ordinary girl. So we need to identify what are their skills. If they are skilled in drawing, so we need to pursue, we need to support her on doing the skills that they have. And normally, for this kind of kids, they focus or they master only specific one, not so many skills. For instance, they can memorize very fast. So we give them books or something for them to memorize.
Children with autism spectrum disorder, or known as ASD, develop at different rate compared to other normal children out there. They find it hard to pay attention to others, communicate, understand other perspectives. However, these children also have a unique set of skills, strengths, and talents. So it is particularly important for the parents to identify the child's strengths. Once the parent work out what their child's strengths and abilities are, the parents can use it to help their autistic child's development. This will be the key to unlock their potential in engagement, learning, and interaction. For example, as we will see in the interview videos later, although it is difficult for her to learn like any normal kids, however, she could answer all of her questions in English. We can see that she has the potential to learn and understand other language and use it in her daily life.
Having a child with autism affects every member of the family in different ways. The parents, the siblings, the individual with autism themselves, they all face different kind of challenges. We interviewed Naira's younger brother, Halif, and find out a little bit about his perspective.
Do you know that your sister is autistic?
Yes.
So do you know that your sister is different? Do you think it is hard to have a sister like Naira? Do you like doing things with Naira?
Yes.
Like what? Playing?
Yes.
Is it hard to talk to Naira? Because
He's always singing.
she's always singing. Can she understand you?
Yes.
Sometimes do you feel like you are the big brother? Why?
Because I'm the only brother in my family.
Do you think you have to be patient to have a sister like her?
Yes.
Do you get mad at her? Why?
Because he always makes fun of me. Bye.
As Halif mentioned, it is quite hard to talk to her as she was always singing and she always makes fun of him, which I think is what all older siblings would do to the younger. But when it comes to communication and interaction, there are some difficulties. According to Lisa Jorudi, children with autism very often have delayed speech. She also noted that they often over-focused on their particular interest, and as a result, they may use it to talk about their preferred topic, and this often leads to frustration on the part of the conversational partner. This is probably why Naira is often singing and Halif finds it hard to talk to her. And speaking from my own experience, I've worked as a babysitter and I've worked at Kidzania, and there were situations where I had to deal with children with autism, and I do agree that it is quite difficult to communicate with them. Personally, I think we need to educate ourselves and learn how to communicate with them more effectively instead of make assumptions or become frustrated. We need to be patient when communicating with individuals with autism, and we must keep in mind that autism is a spectrum disorder, which means it affects individuals in different ways. So not all people with autism are the same. We need to understand this and find out ways to communicate with them more effectively.
How many siblings do you have?
A lot.
Do you know what siblings is?
Yes.
What is siblings?
Siblings.
Siblings tu adik-beradik.
3.
How many brothers do you have?
1.
Sister?
1.
Do you love them?
Yes.
What is your favorite thing to do with them?
Play.
As we can see in the video, Naira did not understand what siblings mean, probably because it is in English, but instead of explaining it in details, we simply translated it to Malay and she was able to answer it right away. an autistic person can find it difficult to filter out information. So if they find it hard to process what you say, you need to say less, be specific, and keep questions short.
As mentioned earlier, autism affects all family members, and this includes the parents as well.
I had this experience when Naira was 5 or 6 years old. She act very actively. She ran away whenever we go to open space or we go to shopping mall. So what I do is actually I put her with the strap in her hand. So some of the old parents, they don't understand why I'm doing that. Because that's the only way for me and for my wife to take care of my children.
Most of the children with autistic spectrum disorder behave unusually. They make inappropriate body language, gestures, and facial expressions, and some of them may have sensory overload. The crowd, the loud noises, the bright and blinking lights can often lead to extreme anxiety or a total meltdown on the part of the child. So going outside can cause them to have a tantrum. But people who do not know them may think they are badly behaved and spoiled. This often happens to parents with ASD child, where people don't understand why the child behaved that way. Like, they just simply judge the parents for not teaching the child to behave.
What kind of things should you not say or ask to parents like you?
Okay, so sometimes we get scold or some people who are not understand our situation. So we need to explain to them that this is a special kid. We need to do like this in order for us to ask her not to run away. All the parents outside, if they don't have any special kids, please do consider, please do understand that we with the special kids need other support.
As I mentioned before, some people could be ignorant and ask or say inappropriate things to the parents. So it is crucial for us to educate ourselves to be more understanding and helpful to each other.
According to Erikson's stage of psychosocial development during adolescence, which is around 12 to 18 years old, children is forming an independent identity. This is normal and important part of becoming an adult. Those who receives proper encouragement will emerge with a strong sense of self. Those who remain unsure will become insecure. We can do a lot to support the child and build their self-esteem along the way. One of the way is to support and encourage her interest.
It's your hobby.
Singing!
Okay, can you sing a bit? Come on. You're shy. Okay, what is your favorite song?
Anything.
It cannot be anything.
Everything.
Alright.
It is apparent from the video that she really loves singing, and by supporting her hobby, it can improve her self-esteem and sense of self.
A diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder can be hard for the child and the family members. This can be quite difficult for them to adapt with the new situation, and which is why both child with ASD and the family members must have a good support system in place.
Do you have friends?
Yes.
How many friends do you have?
A lot.
A lot. Is it easy to have friends?
Yes.
The ecological systems of Pervin Parents theory maintains that the environment affects a child's development. This may involve the interaction between school, home, and peers. So, according to Pervin Parents, this interaction is understood to impact on child's ability to read, for example. In this case, as you can see in the video, Naira seems like a bright kid and she was excited to answer our questions about her friends at school. Although she is autistic and have difficulties in communicating with others, she still be able to establish a social relationship and interact with other children her age. Other than that, you can see in previous videos how the family members keep supporting her. The parents are aware about the importance of education for the child and send her to school to ensure she gets the necessary support to facilitate her full and equal participation in education, and also encourage her to do things that she loves, like singing.
Go to any support groups, or do you have a community specific to this issue?
Last time, yes, we did have. We joined Autism Center in Kelana Jaya. But since we know how to treat this kind of kids, now no more.
According to a research study, the results conclude that most of the parents had little to no information available to them at the onset of their child's diagnosis. So, in my opinion, joining a support group is important for the child and parents as it can help the child cope with the disorder and help the parents to understand the autistic world.
Suggestions for the public?
Public need to be addressed that special kids need special attention. So my advice to the public, if you happen to see this kind of special kids, you need to be more careful in terms of what you say to her and support her. That's the most we can do.
According to a study, it is found that 42% of teens and adults on the spectrum do not feel comfortable leaving their own home because they often feel others treat them negatively. This is heartbreaking. Imagine having to live with the spectrum disorder and people around you don't understand why you behave in a certain way and see you negatively. That must be frustrating, isn't it? Although people with ASD are different than any normal people, they are still human. They have feelings too. So it is important for us to understand and accept each other's differences without making any judgment.
In my opinion, I think it is our responsibility to educate ourselves. Parents and those individuals with autism, it is not their responsibility to teach us about this. It is our job to take the initiative to learn and to educate ourselves so that we will become more understanding and give them support and be helpful.
Autism is a lifelong development disability. Children with autism spectrum disorder develop at different rates and don't necessarily develop skills in the same order as typical developing children. They may find it hard to pay attention to others, communicate and understand other perspectives, and see the big pictures. These challenges can affect their learning and development. Therefore, it is crucial for the parents to understand the child's area of challenge, so they can find the best way to help their child to learn. Other than that, continuous support from the family members, school and community is wholly needed for children with autistic spectrum disorder.